This is ACC Nation. That's Will Ojanen. I'm Jim Quist. And Jim Boeheim has announced that he is departing Syracuse. We were just talking about this the other day, Will, on our regular podcast, and we just felt like it was past time for Jim to retire. And today he pulls the rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, and I wish we would have had our audio with our podcast with Jason, because we talked for a while on after the podcast about the situation, and we none of us had any idea what was about to happen, the next day. But yeah,
Please.
it's it's an amazing career. I mean, it's a rare commodity to find somebody who's been at the helm of something for 47 years. Boeheim obviously being the head coach, but he's also been a coach at the school. He was an assistant in 1969. So he literally dedicated his life to being on the bench for Syracuse basketball. And as of today, that is no more. As you mentioned, he is retiring. Just an outstanding career, Jim.
Almost 60 years. He first arrived at Syracuse as an undergrad student, and he was a walk-on with the men's basketball team. A lot of people are not aware of that. They just thought he was there as a regular member of the team, but he earned his way in. And like you said, 47 years of coaching, and he's one of college basketball's winningest head coaches. He's got a national championship. He's a Hall of Famer. He's obviously one of the most prominent alumni of Syracuse, and he calls it quits, and he hands the torch over to one of his assistants, also a Syracuse grad, Adrian Autry, who graduated in '94. He's one of Boeheim's former players, a longtime assistant. We were wondering, as you mentioned, Will, when we were talking with Jason after the program, about how difficult we talked about this aspect of being a coach. There's a lot of ego involved, and you have to have a lot of ego to run a program, to be confident enough to be on top of anything of that nature. But with with COVID, with NIL, with transfer portal, things have changed, and it becomes overwhelming to some degree. And I'm not saying that's the case with Jim, but realistically speaking, there comes a time at which you look at it and the fun may have gone. And I just, it's always been my feeling that the fun for him has been gone for a while, and which is a shame, because he loves Syracuse. There's no doubt about that. He loves coaching. He loves basketball. But I just think a lot of the fun has just gone out of the game, and that part of being a coach, a head coach, with all the responsibilities that you have to have, that you take onto your shoulders, the kids, everything else. It's just a lot. It's a lot for anybody to handle. So
It really is. And when you look at the way coaching, the coaching game has been for most of our lifetime, and then just how drastic things have changed just over the last handful of years with NIL, the transfer portal, and the fact that you basically have to re-recruit your roster every year. It's a lot for a coach. And obviously he's up there, and he's 78 years old. And you can only you get to a point where it is too much. And I think that's part of what is going on here. Maybe it is time. So let's this is what we're looking at in terms of accomplishments, because he's literally accomplished just about everything you can. He obviously won a national championship in 2003 with Carmelo Anthony, has been to the national championship game 3 total times, 5 Final Fours, 7 Elite Eights, 20 appearances in the Sweet 16. Obviously, been to 33 NCAA tournaments, won the Big East 10 times, or Big East regular season championship 10 times, 5 Big East tournament championships, And, just so many 34 times he won 20 wins, 20 games in a season. And like I said, over 1,000 wins, became a Hall of Famer in 2005. Just an impressive resume when you look at everything that he's done. And that's not mentioning he won 3 gold medals as an assistant for Team USA in the Olympics in 2008, 2012, and 2016.
Well, um, you always hate to see um, somebody who's this well established and who has achieved this much go. I mean, there was to some degree, it's like with Coach K when he left. I know there's a lot of people said, no, good riddance, whatever. There will be people who say that about Boeheim as well, but you should grab a hold of everything that these gentlemen have contributed to the game. And Boeheim has contributed a lot. He's really made his mark, as you just mentioned. Some of the things that he has done been pretty amazing. He's made his mark on college basketball for sure, and from that perspective, I hope we don't forget that part of it, and and leave any of the bad feelings to the side, because that's where they belong now. They, just leave that behind, and best of luck to he and his wife as they move forward in their life, and best of luck to Syracuse, and of course their new head coach in Autry.
Yeah. So, and we've kind of figured, yeah, you said it, we've made fun of them at times on this podcast. We're not going to do that here. That we've done it. This isn't the time and place for us to do it.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, it's the way the Syracuse program is. I mean, it's going to be hard to be the guy to replace a legend. Somebody's got to do it. And we've seen, over the last handful of years, you feel like that whenever Boeheim was going to step aside, when his time had come, that they were going to promote from within. You remember there was a time a few years ago where what's the name? The guy who's coaching at Washington right now. His name escapes me, but I'm sure I'll find it, because he was originally going to be the head coach in waiting. Mike Hopkins, yeah, but he has not done very well at Washington. That hasn't worked out as well. Now you're giving, you had Adrian Autry, as you mentioned. He's been on the bench for a while. He started out collegiately as an assistant coach under Seth Greenberg at Virginia Tech. And then when Greenberg was let go, he joined in to the bench at 2011, 2012 season. He became he was the assistant coach and became an associate head coach in March 2017. So I think that's pretty much the timeline of when Mike Hopkins left to go to Washington. So basically, it kind of felt like, if you read between the lines there, that he was going to be the guy eventually. Now, he doesn't have much experience in the way of as a head coach, but he's been on the staff for a handful of years, and even his current some of assistants that have been there at Syracuse have coaching experience. So he's soaking up a lot of stuff, over the years. He's kind of waited his turn, and now he's getting his chance. The question is what will he do? We're literally recording this in transparency less than an hour after the announcement came. So there's still a lot we don't know yet, but it's still, a guy, they obviously feel, the administration feel he's ready enough to do this.
A lot of confidence in the from the standpoint of Wild Hack and the chancellor also in Autry, and they were very complimentary of Jim Boeheim and everything that he contributed, because they realize how much he has meant to that program and how much he's built that up. So after 47 years as the head, 47 years with Syracuse, Jim Boeheim announces his retirement, and that's the end of another era in college basketball and in the ACC. And we'll have more information on our website at accnation.net. Until next time, cheers.
Cool.